Hi guys, Colin from Rum Venture looking at another shoe to review today. This time we're going to go into a British brand and that's inov8. Been around since 2003. They do fell shoes, they do road shoes as well, but generally they stick to the off-road type of shoe. Their most popular shoe in store for us is the Roclite. This is the ladies version, Roclite 275. All inov8 do with their numbers is that replicates the weight, so 275 grams. So the Roclite 305, the predecessor to this, was 305 grams. So let's have a look at the specific of this shoe. It is a trail shoe. It's a jack of all trades shoe. Look at the sole first of all. You can see it's got these 6mm lugs or cleats, some people like to say, fairly deep. That's quite good for the mud, but it's not got an aggressive bitey type of tread, so it's okay in the mud, but not as good as say a mud claw, funnily enough. Again, with inov8 they name them specifically for their shoes for what they do. The road claw is good on road, the Roclite is quite good on rock and paths and things like that, the mud claw is good in the mud. So when you are running across rocky surfaces, you need as much contact with the ground. If you imagine a road running shoe has a lot of contact with the ground because you're on tarmac, you're on hard surface, so as much friction, contact with the ground to prevent slippage. When you are in a fell shoe, say like the inov8 mud claw, as we're using their brand, it's like pinpricks and there's less friction, but the idea is it sinks into the mud and then causes the friction. So a studded shoe is not particularly great on wet rock, so something on the coastal path. Also with a studded shoe, i.e. pinpricks like a mud claw, obviously those studs can feel a bit hard and come through the shoe. It's not like a hobnail boot or a football boot, but you can after a while longer distance feel those. So the Roclite, even though it's got a 6mm cleat, it's got a wide surface area, so a lot more friction, but it's not designed to bite into the mud, but it's okay. Like I say, it's a jack of all trades. Going into the upper has a toe box. It's not particularly stiff, so that keeps the weight down. The lace and the tongue here, the tongue's a gusseted tongue, so stops anything going through rocks and what have you. The laces are quite thin. That gives a really good sort of clasp around there. If it's done too tight though, be careful because these thin laces can cause, if you've got a high bridge or whatever, you may have to loosen a few little bits because it can dig in a little bit. These orange bits help to draw up the shoe around the foot to give it a good hold. It has got the extra hole, massively keen on that obviously. In the rear it's got this bit which holds around, so it's a fairly soft heel cup, and this is designed to give a little bit of stabilisation, but it's not like a vice-like grip. Midsole, 8mm heel to toe drop, inov8, very clever. I don't know if you can see it on the back, it's got 2 chevrons on the back there. 2 of those means 8mm, 1mm, one of those gives 4mm, 1.5, 6mm, so fairly easy if you're in the know. This will take a gaiter, inov8 do a gaiter, it's got a gaiter clasp there on the outside as well. Run wise, it's quite flat, even though it's 8mm drop, it feels more like a trail shoe. So if you are a road runner going to trail, this may not be the same responsive shoe that you want. It's fairly wide in the toe box, so it's quite good for people who are slightly larger in the width area. The previous model did have a little bit of, unfortunately, a reputation for being not particularly durable, and it used to split across here. inov8 shoes have this sort of groove here, they're designed to bend in a certain place. Great. The only problem is the joint of the material on the last model was in the same place, so it created a weak point. They've actually moved the joint back, so if you had a previous one, the Roclite 305 for example, and it did split over here, don't be put off because this is far more durable. They've put an extra little bit of protection around down there as well. The main feature about this though is the sole. It's got a G grip, so what's that? It's graphene. Manchester University and inov8 got together, and the Manchester University guys came up with graphene. So obviously graphite's really hard. Graphene apparently is the hardest man-made substance. What they've done is they've somehow, I'm not a chemist, so I don't know, they've mixed it into the sole. One of the other reasons is the sole used to be on these was really grippy on wet rock and stuff, but again, not the most durable. So the idea is that inov8 tell me that this makes it 50% more durable. They're not going to say makes a 500-mile shoe a 750, because somebody's going to put a lawsuit in at 748 and say they didn't last. So it's 50% longer. So it is more durable. Where can you run? Coastal paths, really good. Forest tracks, rocky, moorland paths. It's out and out muddy, fell, no. But something like the Grizzly, it's a jack of all trades. 20 mile, that would be ideal. Something local down here, Hope 24, anything on a trail. Lake District, paths, trails and stuff. It's not an out and out fell shoe, winter fell shoe, but it's good enough, particularly in the dry like it is at the minute. It's a great shoe, jack of all trades. I've got a pair of these. In fact, I've got 2 pair of these. I tend to recycle them because it fits my foot very nice. Again, it's not a fast, responsive shoe, but a good shoe all round. We've got plenty of these in stock now, just because I reordered them because they are really popular as a go-to shoe. So those of you who are looking for a trail shoe and want something a little bit more upbeat than your average road runner's trail shoe, great. Those of you in a fell shoe and you're finding the ground too hard, and maybe the Roclite 275 is for you. Okay, mind how you run, guys.